so whenever you're ready, you just introduce yourself. And before we start, you were a brilliant speaker. I'm not trying to butter you up, and it's not because I'm stoned, but you were great. This is my buddy Dan. Dan's been doing a podcast called For the Boot since 2006. He does role-playing games. He's got about 10 to 15,000 regular listeners.
Awesome.
The reason I bring it up is Dan's the smartest guy I know.
Oh.
Right? And I'm one of those people that I find intelligence fascinating. And watching you in that room was fucking brilliant. Because somebody in the audience asked a question, and you weren't derisive, you weren't rude, but the question was so simple, it was like there was a trick, like you didn't get it. You were like, where are we going with this? But your speaking was amazing, absolutely amazing. You really have wonderful presence and a really good head for design.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
So,
well,
anyway, now,
I would like to have this recording with me, so if ever I'm feeling down on myself, I can just replay this.
Now come the hard questions. How in the name of God do you take? I mean, pick a fucking lane, right?
Yeah.
So you're in miniature gaming, so you've got this grid thing. It looks very. I haven't even let you introduce yourself yet. Jesus Christ, I'm the worst ever.
It's all good. This is really entertaining.
No.
I don't even want to talk. I'm like,
you gave me that look too. That look, the same look you gave that guy in that audience. You're like, is this even real right now? Is this guy that fucking stupid? It's amazing. So please, Justin Gary, go right ahead.
Yes, I'm Justin Gary. I am a game designer. I'm most probably well known for making Ascension. That was exactly 10 years ago, as of the time of our talking. It was debuted here at GAMA, and its first copy was sold at Gen Con. So 10 years later, I wanted to level it up a little bit. It's been 15 expansions, over 2 million players, mobile, virtual reality, PC, all over the world. And so I want to do something a little different. And so here is the Ascension Tactics game. It's a combination of the deck building game genre and the miniatures game genre, which is something that I've loved forever, as I talked about before. And I think I'm bringing something that has never been seen before to the table.
That's fantastic. Now, I've played a lot of Warhammer Underworlds. I've seen a lot of Sky Tier, God Tier, however, with the hexes. So you've got mock-ups for miniatures here.
Yes.
They're going to represent our characters from Ascension moving across the board. So what are the game basics? How have you blended these two ideas?
Great. So imagine we're starting with a normal Ascension center deck, a normal Ascension starting deck, right? 8 apprentices, 2 militia. Apprentices will buy cards from the center row, just like in Ascension. Nothing new to worry about there. You'll have your 6-card center row, and you can buy those cards. Now, power works very differently, however. Power, instead of killing monsters, you use that to command your champions. Each champion has a command cost. That's how the champions are balanced against each other. In addition, it helps solve a lot of other problems for miniature games, because even if you have a super powerful guy, you may or may not be able to have enough command to command them. And if your whole team is all super powerful guys, of course it's going to be a heavy cost for you. So, when you command a guy, he starts on your spawn point. Each player has a spawn point here, moves up to 3 spaces. If there's somebody next to him, he can attack him. And that's basically it. You can do that in either order. When you're buying cards, the cards will also be able to interact. There's a new keyword called ambush. When you buy a card with ambush, it does what it says right away. And then you get the card as normal, like a deck building game.
Gotcha.
So that can create.
So really it's like an event. This effect, or it comes into play and
exactly. So it can really help shake up what's happening on the board. There are some extra champions that are rare and legendary characters from our world that can also be acquired. If you pay for those, they join your team.
Oh wow!
In addition, constructs. You attach them to your miniature, and they give it extra stats or extra powers. So you just slide it onto the card. Whenever you attack a miniature, you do the attack damage to their health. If you do at least half damage, they're wounded, and you indicate that they're wounded. If you wound them twice, or if you do the total damage, they're killed.
Yeah, now, and we're allowed to say the T word, right?
Tap?
Yeah, we're alled to say the T word.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it's okay that, yeah.
Yeah, tap, exhaust, I don't know. Yeah. Turn the card sideways, you know what I mean. So that solves the problem of having to have a lot of damage tracking, right? There's only 2 states to remember. And then if a guy is off, when he gets killed, he's out of, it takes a turn before you're allowed to resummon him. In this scenario, it's a scenario-based game, so this is going to be a pre-printed normal scenario, and then you'll have a flip side where there'll be a whole bunch of different ways you can play.
Right.
In this one, you score a point whenever you end a turn that you control a scoring zone. That means you have more characters on or adjacent to the central point. If you control a scoring zone, you get a point. If you end your movement on one of these tokens, these are secrets. You take one, and it has a special power that you can use whenever you want to help add some extra tactical decision making.
Oh, very cool.
That's basically it. These are rough terrain, so you cost 2 to move through them, and you can't, line of sight doesn't cross it.
So design-wise, for the prototype you've got here, you have these card mock-ups that are in these, I assume, Pathfinder card stand
Yes,
thingies?
correct. Good eye.
So, but the card standee that you have, the mock-up, is an identical copy of the actual card itself, which is great design, but in the final production copy, are these going to be miniatures?
They'll be miniatures.
Okay,
yes.
gotcha. That's very, very cool. So, anything else about the game that you want to pitch? When it's going to be?
Yeah, so we're coming to Kickstarter in July. Right now, we're asking everybody to sign up at stoneblade.com/tactics for my email list. I actually I'm going to be giving a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, not only about tactics, which will show you minis behind the scenes, the design of the game. I'm also going to be doing behind-the-scenes for our Kickstarter, really showing like how do you build a marketing plan, how do you build a campaign page, what are we doing, what's working, what's not, so people can really be a part of the process. And you'll also get all kinds of freebies and updates and my podcast for Think Like a Game Designer to teach game design, where I talk with amazing designers like Richard Garfield, Paul Peterson, a lot of really well-known people in the industry.
So speaking of Richard Garfield, years ago, Scuttlebutt was that you were a pro Magic player.
That's correct.
So what was? I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to monopolize your time here. But what was that like?
Well, so I won the U.S. National Championships when I was 17, and that suddenly started traveling around the world playing Magic, and that was how I paid my way through college.
Right.
So I won a pro tour, and I traveled all around.
Because you were smart and able to figure out the card combinations and likelihoods and
right. Yeah, and so it was an amazing experience, and it was something that kind of got me into the game industry in the first place. And then after a very short and ill-advised stint in law school, I quit law school and became a game designer.
Oh, you would have been a monster attorney, man. You would have crushed.
I think I would have been a good attorney, but I'm a much happier game designer.
Oh, sure, yeah, because you would have been one of the mean guys.
I don't think I would have been a good person.
Right. Well, Justin, it was so great. Anything else you want to plug that we need to throw out there for you?
No, man, this is pretty good. I just want to copy that recording because your intro is the best I've gotten so far.
Well, then you know what? You will get it. Check out Ascension, guys. I have played more than 1,000 games one-on-one with my wife. That's not hyperbole. It's not exaggeration. In fact, in my house, we call it a dream crush. We call it Dream Crusher. If you beat somebody by more than 15 points, you've crushed their dreams. And so she'll just look over at me and be like, "Hey, you want to crush dreams?"
That's awesome.
It's our foreplay. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.